Hi everybody and welcome back. Today we are finalizing our very last week of radical theories and we're focusing primarily on feminist theories today. The feminist school of criminology was developed in the late 1960s and 1970s as a reaction to the general disregard and discrimination of women in the United States in traditional study of crime. It very strongly coincided with the women's movement in the United States and it helped to fight for equality in the justice system and within academia as well. Feminist criminologists note that the field of study within criminology has historically been dominated by men, leading to the development of criminological theories that focus exclusively on the male experience. The patriarchal domination is not unique to criminological theory, as it is also reflected in the criminal justice system, which is cited as a gendered institution in itself. Feminism operates within the existing social structure to examine the social, political, and economic experience of women and to devise strategies for achieving greater equality via inequality in women's roles. This involves considering how women came to occupy their subservient roles, the nature of male privilege, and the means whereby the discourses that constitute the power of patriarchy can be redirected to transform society. The feminist school of criminology was closely associated with the emergence of the women's movement that emerged during the period of counterculture, and it speaks with multiple viewpoints developed from different feminist writers. There is no one single feminist criminology or one single theory. Instead, what we have are many different lines of thought that seek to explain why women don't commit crime at the same rate as men, or even in the exact same way. Similar to feminist theory as a whole, there are debates within the field as to the cause of inequality that shapes multiple perspectives within this branch of criminology. The feminist school of criminology emphasizes that social roles of women are different from those roles belonging to men, and they're leading to different pathways towards deviance, crime, and victimization that are often overlooked by other criminological theories. Early feminist scholars noted that there was a strong need for feminist criminology, and they cited that need based on three areas in criminology where scholarship about women, in comparison to men, was very sparse. These areas include focus on women as criminal offenders, women as victims of crime, and women working within the field of criminal justice. It's readily apparent that males do indeed commit far more offenses, especially those deemed important to criminology, compared to females. This focus has been due in part to the relationship of criminology within legislative and correctional systems. The field developed in that part, the field developed in part to help improve understanding of why people commit crimes so that policies could be enacted to reduce those crimes. Not only do women commit fewer crimes, but also they commit crimes that are of less interest to those concerned about public safety. Thus, women were largely ignored until the 1970s. Feminist scholars at the time set out to explain why there was such a strong differential in the crime rate and hypothesized that with the women's movement, women would feel free to take on more masculine qualities, including the commission of crimes. Both feminist criminologists, as well as criminologists that do not ascribe to that label, have argued that much of early criminological theory is both inherently biased against women. Feminist criminology challenges mainstream criminology to no longer assume theories explaining male crime are equally valid for explaining crime committed by females. This practice is referred to as the generalizability problem. This means that adding women to male knowledge, whereby the findings from research on men are essentially generalized to women. By utilizing a feminist methodology, feminist criminologists work to address the gender ratio problem as they see it, meaning why are women less likely than men to commit crime? As it is, gender role expectations continue to define acceptable behaviors and attitudes for females and males. Deviation from those expectations may result in a variety of societal sanctions ranging from verbal abuse to violence to incarceration. These roles are a powerful form of social control that is maintained through informal and formal mechanisms. Hedelson suggests a male-biased control theory. And in that male-based control theory, there are a few different assumptions. The first being that a woman's place is in her home. By leaning on that assertion, right, by keeping a woman inside the home, a woman has fewer opportunities for criminal activity because the routine of domesticity keeps her in the house. In any event, women are more afraid to go out of the home after dark because they fear aggressive male behavior. And the second assertion is that even if women do work outside the home and they have jobs, men often have a supervisory or managerial role and often are characterized by women as being harassing in nature, which makes it more difficult for women to go out and commit major crimes within the workforce. This theory suggests that as a result of gender roles, women simply didn't have the opportunity to commit crime and cannot commit crime in the same way that men do. For example, the whole notion of pink-collar crime extends to female opportunity and motive. If a woman steals from the grocery store or writes a hot check, it might be because she needs to feed her children. The motivations behind the fraud are less deviant than they might be for a man. Or a woman might be forced to commit a crime based on her position within a company. In a bank setting, women work more often as bank tellers, whereas men work more often as managers in comparison to women. Women might only have access to the money that's in their bank drawers, so embezzlement can only occur on a small scale, whereas the store or branch manager has access to everything and has the possibility to embezzle a lot more money, or commit a much grander crime as the CEO of a company. These are often blocked opportunities that are the result of years of gender role oppression. Furthermore, the court and the criminal justice system as a whole has traditionally treated female offenders with kid gloves. Through the Chivalry Hypothesis, feminist scholars suggest that the CJ system overall sentences women to less incarceration time and often lessens the severity of charges compared to men. Scholars believe that this is done for several reasons. First, women are often seen as caretakers and nurturing providers. So if the woman has children, then the courts are sympathetic and typically allow mothers a more lenient sentence compared to fathers. Secondly, female criminality is still viewed more as more of an irregular. Secondly, female criminality is still viewed as more of an irregularity rather than the norm. So courts view crime as a mistake or see women as someone in need of being saved, so they try to help where they can. Finally, because women commit crimes for different motivations and in different ways compared to men, these sentences are often the result of the types of behaviors that women engage in. However, for feminist scholars, the perception of the court's chivalry is representative of the continued suppression of female equality overall. Many feminist criminologists believe that in order for true equality for men and women to exist, there must be an equal punishment in the court system as well. One of the major tenets of the feminist school rests in the idea that if women were granted the equality that they sought, then female offenders would start to be equal with men in terms of the crime rate. However, that never happened the way that researchers believed that it would. While there still is not true equality between the sexes, women have made significant strides since the 1960s, and we still haven't seen a significant increase in the number of women engaging in criminal behavior. These so-called radical schools of criminology are really not as radical as we claim them to be. They're certainly built on different premises. They're certainly built on a different premise compared to more mainstream theories like social learning theory, self-control, and general strain theory, but they're not so far out there that they don't have any merit. Gender, economic, and environmental inequalities play a large role in everyday behavior, so why wouldn't they also play a role in criminal behavior? This lecture ends our 3-week journey through the more radical theories that are available within the discipline. Next week, we're going to begin the end of the semester by focusing on developmental and life course theories. This topic is one of the newest in the discipline and one of the more continuously researched. So, as this class is a study of contemporary theory, we're about to get into one of the most modern theories that we have besides biosocial criminology. Meet me back here next week when we begin our second to last second to last lecture for the semester. Thank you all for your time and your attention. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.